All right, what's up, friends? It's Mike D, also known as Medurik, and I thought it'd be fun to do a little update video and talk about my journey and progress in getting into sim racing, gaming for racing, and all focused on Wilder World and getting ready for Midnight in Wiami, which I'm super excited about. But what I thought I'd do, since I've been getting further down the rabbit hole of sim racing and just racing games online, is talk about what I've done so far. I wanted to show my setup and talk about some big upgrades I just did or am going to be doing tonight. And hopefully, just helps people. I've been really going down the rabbit hole of reviewing products, of playing racing games, and just getting better acquainted with that whole world and having a lot of fun doing it. But it takes time to do all the research and all that. So if this helps shortchange that for some people, that's cool. If you have any questions, definitely leave them below this video, wherever it's posted, and I'll answer it. But what I first wanted to do is just give you a real quick tour of my setup in my studio and talk about how it's changed a little bit. So it's the beginning of November 23 right now, and I haven't done much with gaming over the summer. I'm very active. I like being on the water and doing other sports, so I haven't done much gaming over the summer, but once the weather changes, I like hunkering down and, hanging out in the studio, both working on music, but also, diving down this new rabbit hole of gaming and racing. So I first had, I'm going to get up and walk around and show you around. So I first had my setup right at my main studio desk here where I had my racing rig. But even though it was on wheels, once I get busy working on music, it was kind of in the way, and I don't like having a flow get disrupted. So, what I did was move that over to here, which I'll show in a minute, which is my old vocal booth. But before I get into that, I first wanted to show off the computer setup. So I have the Mac trash can. That's for all my recording stuff. And then there's my PC. This was a pre-built rig from PowerSpec PC, and it's got a 3080 card. It's a Ryzen 9 5900. With 32 gig of RAM, and I think those are all the main specs that matter. So I wasn't really going crazy with building my own rig. They've done a great job with this rig. It's water cooled, and it's certainly been able to throw everything that I can at it. So I have that there, and then basically I have kind of cables running underneath the floor over to where the new rig is. But I also can set it up in front of the computer screen for the music section. So if I am working on music or want to see how something really sounds with the main system, I could easily just wheel stuff around and I'm good to go. But here's all the new stuff that came today. I'll talk about that in a second. Let me show off what I did though, because I don't do a lot of recording of other people right now, and this was my vocal booth, and still is. But what I did, this door slides shut, and then I have an isolation booth. But since I wasn't using it, I kind of converted it to bringing in my racing rig. So, just kind of finished this. I still got some things I'm doing, my VR equipment if I want it. I have my main screen here, and then I have a separate screen for what I plan to do with, whether I'm going to be doing live streams or just, there's some of the other AI stuff I've seen on the racing games. There's other overlays and training things that happen during in-game. And it's nice having a little bit of extra screen real estate that doesn't take up the regular field of view. So I was on a Logitech G920. I bought this whole rig for $300 used. The seat, the wheel, and the pedals, brand new, the G29 I think goes for around $300. But, what I did in my research was just found, I wouldn't even advise starting with that. It's always good, and if you're on a budget, you could find them used, no problem. But I will tell you that I was impressed to see what's available at just a little bit more of a higher of a price point with gear, and I'll talk about that in a second. But there's the setup here. This right now is on a Setta Corsa Competizione. That's what I've been playing a bunch, but I'll talk about games in a second. What I wanted to show here was all the upgraded stuff I got to put together and put into place tonight. So this is a Fanatec full setup. We have the CSL DD direct drive motor, and that has the boost so I can get up to 8 Newton meters. I went with the McLaren GT3 steering wheel, and then I got the CSL Elite pedals, the V2 versions. So that's all the stuff I got to put together and update today. Now, a couple things I wanted to talk about with the games I've been playing and the gear and all that other stuff. So the main games I've been playing are Grid 2019. It's older, but it's a lot of fun, and it's definitely more of what I think people would consider a simcade. You got a wide range of tons of different cars, so you really get a feel for how different cars, maneuver and drive and how you control them in a fun, in a fun game. You got encouraged to kind of crash a little bit. It's aggressive, and it's just fun. So that's one of the games I've been having fun playing. I also play a little bit of F1. It's super fast. It's a lot of fun as well. I wouldn't necessarily, after research, see that many people consider that an actual sim for like real legit people, but it certainly is more realistic. Assetto Corsa Competizione is definitely one of the higher regarded sims in the industry as I've been diving down this rabbit hole. And it's hard. It's very realistic from what I hear from other people that play it. And you really have to be conscious of all the things that happen in a car with technique and all the other things that are coming into play. So I've been kind of doing a mix of all three of those games just to get a wide variety of different way racing games play and how to get better at them kind of overall. So that's been a lot of fun to dive down all those rabbit holes. Those are the games I've been focusing on most, and just trying to break up the time I have in between them just to get better and experience and have fun. So with the new gear, like I said, I bought the Logitech setup for like $300 last year, and it's been fun. It's been working great, and it's a great entry point into things. And as I wanted to kind of up the game a little bit, I obviously went down the rabbit hole of all the reviews and all the gear that's out there, and there's a ton. But I decided to go with the Fanatec setup. I don't know if it's Fanatic or Fanatec, but I could not find barely any negative reviews at all. And everything I saw, everybody was blown away by the price point for the quality that you get. So the CSL line is their kind of entry-level line, but it's, for $300, you could get a full setup with a direct drive motor, a steering wheel, and a set of pedals for like $300 or $400 US, which is just, at that point, why even go with a G29 or a Logitech setup, in my opinion. The setup I bought was definitely, upgraded. The brake pedals, I could not find one person that said a bad thing about them, and everybody was just 100% blown away by the Elite Pedal V2s that just came out. Apparently Fanatec stuff was hard to get for a while because it was out of stock. Everything's available right now at the time of this video, and they've just upped their game on a lot of their equipment. The McLaren wheel, also, everybody was blown away by the price point and what you get. So for me, it was kind of an obvious choice. Number one, to stick with Fanatec. And then, the interchangeability of all the options they have is awesome. So they have a lot of different wheels for different types of driving and different types of games. The GT3 wheel seemed a lot of fun, so I went with that. And then the motor they have an entry level one, which is 5 Newton meters of torque. I bought the boost kit, which brings it up to 8 Newton meters. Again, when I was getting into this, I was thinking of buying at the very entry level and then upgrading. But, by spending just a few $100 more, I found that you could get it to this level where you'll never need anything else. Even pro racers say that, you could go spend thousands of dollars just on pedals and all this other stuff, but it's just barely noticeable, it won't make you better if you're not already good at the basic skills of playing a racing game or being a driver. So I think my whole setup that I just upgraded was about $900. So definitely significant. But considering what I was looking at and coming from, it's, from what I've heard, definitely just a mind-blowing amount of quality and improvements over what you get with like what is considered a toy from the Logitech G world, if you will. So I'm super excited to dive into that. I'll definitely give you some updates on what it's like to play and what it's like to use it. But for me, I always, being a musician, you got to kind of get your foundation, and then, because you won't really understand why something's better until you have some basic skills. And I feel like I had enough of that developed with the Logitech stuff. And so now it's time to get into the higher skill stuff and having the equipment to help bring you there, along with the coaching. There's a lot of videos and channels that I've been diving into of YouTubers or just basic influencers and, people in the niche that are great teachers and give a lot of insight onto how to improve. Again, we're all getting into this for fun for the most part, but I found a lot of people that, treat it as their career. And YouTubers and influencers certainly practically, in some cases, do make a living just doing what they do by making videos. So I found a lot of great resources. I'll try to post links underneath this video or wherever you see this to show you the top ones that I found and follow now. Too many to list, and I'm not great with names, so I'll just list them below, at least as far as the top channels that I found the most helpful of where I went to go find tips on how to improve, on how to find the right gear, what not to do from the beginning. I'm always big on that when I get into anything new that I like learning. What do I not want to do on the onset to not develop bad habits? Again, even though this is just a big fun endeavor, I always like seeing improving, and anything that you do with like a timed sport or a timed activity, I dive into hard because it's so fun and quick and easy to see improvements when it's just a time-based thing. So anyways, that's the update I wanted to give. I am going down to Miami at the beginning of December for Art Basel for Wilder World's launch of Midnight in Wiami, which is the racing game. Super excited about that. Super excited if I get the opportunity to be a beta tester too, and we really look forward to doing whatever videos I can talking about my experience being down there, checking out the game, and I might even start up doing more of these videos, maybe doing some Twitch stuff or whatever. So anyways, just wanted to send this update. If you have questions or if I can help you with anything, reach out to me, leave a comment, and I'll reply and however best I can, or get in touch. And that's about it. I'll keep another update coming as soon as I can, or as most recent as I can. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Later.